Yes, so after the album Tornado, which did relatively well, you know, in reggae terms, for a self-produced and self-distributed album, went on, pretty alright then. So after this album, the idea came about. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to well then have Move On recording studio. So I started to, you know, check around and look around, started buying equipment. And at first, I didn't really have a place to build a studio. Then apparently my mother-in-law had a big house. So there was the opportunity. She was living alone in the house, so big house with a whole heap of rooms inside. So the first place I built the BMP, or the Blue Mountain Production Recording Studio, was in a room in that house, which was a great experience. I actually built the whole thing from scratch myself and did most of the installation, and had a few people coming in and there to assist me with some technical issues. After building that studio, I went on to produce my in-house album called Roots, and some independent projects, some out of house projects then, which I produced for other people. And then after that, we did a compilation by the name of BMP Attack. Now, the Roots album was a good vibe, or let's say a good album, which got very much attention, especially in Italy, where did very well, had a lot of airplay, and we did a lot of performances. From there, I actually performed basically in the whole of, there's just about no city in Italy, which I performed based on that album, from Milan to Florence, Venice, Bari, Rome, all over the place, Modena, Torino. Some of the places I can't really remember now, but the ones that I can remember. And during that stint with the Roots album, I basically had contact with a old school friend of mine. Actually, I heard he was in Italy, so I contacted him, and we link up, Virginia Manuel Miller, and he was doing the club scene, so he had a manager who kind of linked up with both of us being from Jamaica and thing, and I had some experimental things that I had started. So I let him hear them, and his PR back then. So that could be a good track for Italy, because the dance scene was very hot in Italy back then. So went into a studio up there in Piemonte, and we ran the track and put it on tape, and I did some vocals on it, and I think he did some DJing, and we kind of sent on the track to a few recording companies. Now there's a recording company by the name of Flying Records from Napoli. They heard the track and got interested, and so they wanted to link up with me. So we flew over to Napoli and met them, and and they had a project they wanted to do. They wanted to do a reggae dance project. So they made a proposition, and I said, all right, we try to work with that. So after that Roots album, I went on to work in Napoli with a Brazilian named Roberto Ferrante, to co-produce the Kingston Club album that was called also Kingston Club. We did some do-overs, some Marley, some tracks that I as well did, like Don't Turn Around from Tracy Chapman, but reggae versions and thing. And that album then came out later that year, and the single was Pride in the Name of Love. If you look it up on YouTube, Kingston Club, Pride in the Name of Love, you will find it. And that single took off pretty well. We had a number 2 status in Italy in the charts. We're in the top 10 in England. We're in the top 10, I think number 2 in Germany. From what I've seen, Philippines, Brazil, and Indonesia, Malaysia, and then places there. So that took off, and I went on to do some promotional touring and stuff to promote the album with a recording company. Finally, we were supposed to go into something bigger than that, but some difficulties arrived and came up then, and can't really go into details, but I decided to step back and go back to my independent way of working, because the company wanted some kind of exclusive deal, and they didn't want to really pay up several then the right advance. So I couldn't work with that, because I could earn more working by myself and for myself, and running my own show. So I basically stepped back and went back to do my own thing, where I started to plan my next album after that, which was called Candela. And this was a project I basically did in part in Switzerland, in Jamaica, and mixed Jamaica, Switzerland, part of it in UK, and the greater part in New York with Philip Smart. But with the next episode, we go more into detail, with what went down with the Candela album. So, blessed love.